Well, it's been kind of a rough last 12 months or so. If you were a late 80s kid or a 90s kid, losing some of the best comedians of our era. In fact, just think about all the greats the great comedians that we've lost in my lifetime, whether it's Farley or Belushi or Norm or Bob now. A lot of people didn't think of Bob Saget as a comedian, but he truly was. And his stand-up comedy was surprisingly blue. And you know, when everything happened to him um, earlier this year, there were a lot of questions, a lot of bizarre questions around, what exactly happened to him. When he passed, the story we were told was that he had slipped and fell and accidentally hit the back of his head on something, thought nothing of it, and then went to sleep. What we found out later is the injury was massive, something similar to being struck with a baseball bat. Or I think some people said falling 2 to 3 stories, if that was, I think another doctor said something like that. Suddenly it raised a bunch of questions. Then Bob's family demanded all the records sealed, which I actually 100% understand. I don't think many people could probably understand what it's like to be, to lose somebody like that and then have to see 1,000 articles about it, showing pictures and all sorts of stuff like that. That would just be brutal. But it also fueled a lot of questions about what exactly is going on. It made a lot of people say, well, why are they want it sealed? What's going on? Don't they want to investigate? I mean, he was 65, appeared relatively healthy, and alone in a hotel room, somehow fell 2 stories onto a hard surface. Nothing added up. Well, today there were the eerie photos of his hotel suite from the PD released, and it's raising a lot more questions than answers. And I want to be careful. I want to be respectful here. I don't think I want to imply that this means anything for a fact, but it's curious. We lost America's dad, and it doesn't seem like anyone wants to do any kind of investigation. Sure, one in a zillion things could happen. Like, he fell and, I don't know, something fell underneath him, that he fell on top. It was like a 1 in a billion thing that happened. That's actually probably what happened. But these photos from the Ritz-Carlton are awfully, I don't know. They bring a lot of questions up. I'm going to get into all that after a quick word from this video sponsor. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. They allow people to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so they can call themselves a lord or a lady officially. In return, they commit to plant a tree with every order and protect the beautiful, pristine woodlands of Scotland. Established Titles makes an absolutely amazing gift, and a person could officially get their name changed on documents. Their title pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate and an official certificate with a crest. Established Titles is currently having a really big sale just for you, my subscribers. You can get an additional 10% off any purchase you make with the discount code TheQuartering. So click the link below, go to establishedtitles.com/thequartering and use promo code TheQuartering to save an extra 10% today. Now, this morning we covered by obviously every major news outlet is covering it. You see the scene photos now raise more questions than they answer. Hotel suite pictures show a padded headboard and carpeted floor where the comedian, quote, fell and hit his head. Now, if you remember, that was what they said. It hit his headboard, and that's what caused. And again, we're not talking about like a small gash that got infected and someone got sick over several days or something like that. We're talking about a massive high impact damage to the skull. The plush Florida suite where America's dad mysteriously banged his head and passed away. the photos are revealed for the first time today. The cache of images released Tuesday by the Orange County Department included pictures of the bed, the floor, the mini bar, desk, bathtub. You know, the bathtub could have been a thing. Falling in the tub, a lot of people actually pass away from that. So it could have happened in the tub too. The weird thing about it was that it was like so much damage that like there, and then from what I could tell, there was no like blood or anything like that. You know, at least they didn't talk about it. So investigators never actually determined what happened, but they suggested in their final report that he likely slipped and hit his head on either the headboard or carpeted floor in the early hours of January 9th. The $800 per night suite, whoa, that's a lot of dough, had an entranceway with a wooden floor leading into a living area with a couch, cabinets, various lamps, dining room table, and minibar. There are empty bottles of soda in the trash and a used glass tumbler. None of the alcohol was open. I don't think he drank. I'm not sure. I don't think he did. His clothes, including jeans, shirt, and jacket, are all hanging up in a walk-in closet with a suit bag. Various photos of the room are depict the king-size bed where he was found, complete with white sheets and a cream-padded headboard. The assortment of items that are pictured on the nightside include glasses, an iPhone, an iPad, earbuds, and charger, and some chapstick. So this is it. You can see he didn't hit his head on the headboard. That couldn't possibly have dealt the damage that he actually had, right? There's also no fluids on it. You know, this is kind of, there's his cell phone charging, a bottle of water, nothing weird there. Now, here's one thing I'll say. Yes, the floor is carpeted, but I doubt it's like super plush, you know, Berber not Berber, but like it's not like shag carpeting. The floor is probably still pretty hard. And also there's hardwood floor over here. The interesting thing is too, if you fall, if you take a spill, there are a lot of, you would think maybe there'd be some stuff out of place that would indicate where you're like grabbing for something or something you tripped over, something would be askew. Nothing really seems to indicate that. And again, I believe that based on the evidence, the most likely scenario is exactly what they said. It was some weird accident where he tripped on something or something like that. And, you know, but it doesn't, you know, here the tub. Why didn't they say it happened in the tub? Certainly, falling backwards into like the tub handle here. First of all, you've got marble or ceramic tile here. And then, you know, maybe he fell backwards into the tub and hit his head on the spout. Same thing in the shower. It's a large shower. Well, he probably looks like he hadn't used the tub. I don't know if he'd used the shower. It looks like there's some products in there. I mean, there's certainly things he could have fallen in there and hit his head on where you turn the water on. That's possible. But again, that was not floated by them. You know, you slip in the shower, hit your head on this. It's pointy and strong enough that you could probably reasonably say, you know, that's a possibility. Quote, their purpose was to locate specific places or items in the room that could have caused the damage found there. The countertops, tables, nightstands, and other hard furniture in the room all had sharply defined edges and corners and were thought to be unlikely due to the fact that they would have broke the skin, the report said. That's a good point. The counters in the bathroom and shower stall were ruled out for the exact same reason. Okay, so there you go. Most of the chairs and couches were thickly upholstered and were way too soft to have caused that type of damage that Bob had. As mentioned earlier, most of the suite was also carpeted. The headboard of the bed was also lightly padded and set slightly out from the wall. These are listed here as possible mechanisms of the injury, but nothing was located in the room that allows for any kind of definitive conclusion. He had driven himself back from a stand-up gig 2 hours away in Jacksonville before handing over the keys to his Chevrolet Impala and walking into the Carlton at 2 a.m. He was seen on CCTV walking purposely across the lobby before entering his room at 2:17 a.m. He failed to check out later that day, and security let themselves into his suite at 3:53 p.m. and found him there with swelling and a small bruise on the corner of his left eye. The door to the room was latched from the inside, and there was no signs of struggle. Nothing was damaged, and no trace of any kind of fluids anywhere. Now, isn't it possible that this happened? People have been, able to do a wide variety of things after some sort of major injury. Maybe he slipped and fell getting out of his car. But it's so weird. It was like somebody would have to put a pillow over it and then hit it with a bat as to not break the skin. Unusually, the internal door to the adjoining room was found unlocked, but staff established that nobody had been inside it while he was there. How do they do that? He briefly stopped to pose for a selfie with a valet worker in Orlando Nunez, 21, as he walked inside the hotel, warning Nunez that he was recovering from the COOF. So at this point, maybe you would think he isn't injured, because if he had injured, I'm not sure you stopped to take a selfie. PD later used the selfie to determine that he was uninjured when he went into his room. Okay, geez, maybe I should actually read. So it's all coming together now. So the mystery is intact, isn't it? He had a mask on at that point, so I told him I had no idea who he was. I said it was fine for him to take it off because I've had the COOF twice myself. I recognized the voice, but only when he took off the mask, I was like, oh, it's Bob. It's nice to meet you. I didn't recognize any injuries. He didn't seem hurt. He wasn't slurring his words. He was exactly as I remembered while watching him on TV as a child. I was in complete awe. Nunez said the two men chatted warmly for several minutes about the COOF, their families, and their home state of California before they huddled for a photo. He said he had just driven back from Jacksonville. He didn't seem tired at all. And it was like he just stepped off stage. We talked about the COOF. He made a joke about how there are so many strains now that they're giving them sorority names. If anything, I was cautious about the picture as I wanted to be polite and respectful. But he said, get in here, come on. I've had a few celebrities who barely say a word, but Bob was the most genuine, approachable guy. When I heard what had happened the next day, I was devastated. And then we see you had here a linear fracture of the base of the skull involving the right occipital bone and right temporal bone. You had a hemorrhage back here. You had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. Another subdermal hematoma. Then countertop contusions involving a bilateral frontal lobes. And then what's interesting is he hit the back of his head so hard that it broke part of his face in the front eye. He had two black eyes. I just don't know. It's so weird. The questions certainly the new pictures raise a lot more questions than answers. The headboard was a big thing that they said, but clearly he didn't get that damage from the headboard. And there's no, this is crazy. Well, I miss Bob. I miss his content. And this is just terrible. But I hope that maybe somebody out there gets to the bottom of it, because it sure seems very suspicious to me. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.